There it goes. Okay.
Sibilance.
Sybil Shepherd.
Nah.
In the 70s?
Shania Twain.
Dude, Sybil Shepherd in the 70s. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Hell, Bo Derek in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. Let's be serious.
All right.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese and France, Mickey? What? Royale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice up my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey, everyone. You're listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
JD.
All right, boys and girls. So we are back. We are off. We had our normal holiday time off. And we're back. How was your guys' holidays?
Oh, really?
Sure. John, how was your holiday?
Well, stayed with my sister, spoiled my nephews, handed them back to my sister with a cappuccino and a puppy.
Oh, I hate people like you.
You know, what I do is I take them to the arcade, the kind where you get tickets when you win, when you play the games. And then we go over, and with the tickets, we get as much candy as possible. And then we make sure that they eat as much of it as they can before we get back to the house. And then I go to bed.
There's a special corner. Never mind. Just gonna let it go.
Got myself a new 55-inch TV. Spent some time setting it up with Amazon Fire Sticks, and found out that HD television costs more with every service, which really, really sucks and is stupid. But oh well. But otherwise everything is good. Getting back to work was hard after 2 weeks of vacation. But that's me. How about you, JD?
Oh, it was fine. A lot of wrestling. We did some travel for the team. Got to go up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's always fun. Got to watch my kid really appreciate Christmas for the first time. 3, I think, is the magic number where you really are aware of what's going on. So he was super fired up for Christmas this year. My dad broke his leg on Christmas. Don't get drunk and go outside in the ice. Good lesson to everybody.
That's...
Well, I'm fine. I finished another book. Should be publishing in 2 weeks. So.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, I hate you.
15 in 2020, baby. 15.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right. Whatever. Go ahead. It's not a competition.
It is not.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, that sounds good.
Floor is yours, Dave.
All right. So I actually had a really good Christmas. I can't say anything bad about my Christmas. The twins are 1.5, but it was the first time they could unwrap presents on their own, and they seemed very excited about everything that they got. And
they got lungs. Oh my God, do they have lungs?
Yes, they do. Very much so. We had gotten them a trampoline for Christmas, and they really liked that. I actually got a new laptop, specifically for the podcast, which is what we're recording on right now. But for those who know, and there's those who don't know, shortly after Christmas, my wife went into the hospital. She had a really bad infection. She had to have emergency surgery, to remove the infection. And then while she was in the hospital recovering, 7 days actually after the operation, she went into cardiac arrest and passed away. So why am I recording this? I'm sure people are asking that right now. Because I need to not move on. That's not the right word, but move forward a little bit. And, I need my friends, you guys. And,
I believe the term was normalcy. And
yes.
then we questioned your sanity as to why I came here.
And the other thing I wanted to say is, I announced it on Facebook. I told some other people, and I had a huge outpouring, not just from friends and family, but from fellow podcasters and from artists and writers in the comic book community, all giving me condolences and saying, if you need to talk, let me know. And, sorry. That meant the world to me. And I wanted to say thank you to everyone, who did that. And, you guys are why I do this show. So, I really appreciate it. It meant the world to me.
Yeah.
But
they are
yeah.
a really good community. I mean,
yeah.
I saw some of the responses.
So, I don't want to bring the entire show down.
Yeah, it's my job.
Yes, it is.
So again, we celebrate creativity. We celebrate life on this show. My wife was a wonderful, wonderful person. I'm thankful for the 19 years we had together. I always will be, for the 2 beautiful children, our 2 wonderful grandchildren. And I have to live now for her. So again, thank you for everyone who was concerned. I'm doing okay. I got John and JD have my back. So that's that. All right. What's that? What is that loud buzzing noise?
I think it might be my furnace. Hang on 1 second.
I thought it was the furnace. You're doing laundry. I mean, it would go with the wearing no pants while you're on the podcast thing.
What a great way to end that.
I'm sorry. I told you it's my job to bring us down.
Yes. So again, thank you to everyone. Let's move on. And there is one thing I wanted to talk about. We had let's do a little social media madness. Two things.
Social media madness is what brings us down. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And now I'm just going to mention the one thing. So we had talked about, of course, our last episode of last year was a review of Rise of Skywalker. And I actually ended up boosting the post on Facebook, which I haven't done in a while.
Oh, that's right. And people like to hear us argue, apparently.
And we got a lot of feedback on the post. JD mentioned that it was probably the most feedback we've ever seen on a post. And, I found it interesting. Did you read any of it, John?
Well, it's a new year, and, well, there goes one of my New Year's resolutions.
I think JD got burned up in the furnace.
I was looking for my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Did you find Freddy?
If I do, that's a problem. He's not real.
I'd say.
So one of the things I found interesting.
We are here to furnace someone.
Yeah. Is a lot of people found it depressing, the ending of the movie depressing, and it felt like they didn't understand the end of the movie. They said Palpatine won because Rey struck him down, but I feel they missed the point of what happened. I know you might agree with it, John.
Well, obviously he didn't, and yet she did exactly what he said she should do. So it keeps going back to my point of it was just a movie of cool scenes and not really any real cohesion for a plot. So.
Yeah. I understand your point, but obviously, he didn't win. In fact, wait, what was the one comment here? It's not Rise of Skywalker, it's Rise of Palpatine.
True. Yeah.
Mary Sue and identity theft. But again, I I think I explained it when I said it was about choosing good over evil, and she was choosing to be on the light side. That was my interpretation.
I like Star Wars.
So JD, what did you think of the interpretation that Palpatine won?
I think it's the most pessimistic thing I've ever heard in my entire life. If you take that, then he won in Return of the Jedi too. I truly believe that. Like, she beat him. She beat him in his own game. I haven't talked to my brother in over a week because we fought about Star Wars.
Whoa!
Bro.
So, yeah. Like, he actually dropped the, you only like this movie because you think you're less of a Star Wars fan if you don't. So I stopped talking to him until he grew up. So, like, this movie is making people so, like, all three of these movies are making people so, like, angry that I'm like tired of talking about it, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I agree with that too. You know, you run into the people who are like, how can you like this? And it's like, why not? Everyone's got different tastes. And
of everything going on in the world right now, this is the least, well, not the least reason, but this is pretty low on the totem of reasons to actually fight with somebody.
I agree. In light of everything else, it's stupid.
Plus, yeah, I fully agree with you. The movie was stupid.
Oh.
A week ago, I would have taken that bait.
No, it's okay. I mean, like I said before, I've gotten to the point where I just don't care that much about it. I'm allowed to have my opinion that I don't care much, and you can really, really like it. That's fine with me. I'm not going to, like, try to turn you. So,
to the dark side.
Well, there's lots of other movies that you know. I mean, look at Joker. Man,
11 Oscar nominations.
Yeah, I know, right?
11. Come on.
I know. I think that's one of the few things I think we can all unify behind is how? Why?
Have you finally seen it, JD?
No, now it's in the list of movies I will never see.
Oh, okay, good.
What? Really?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to see it now. Because of all the attention it's getting, now I definitely can't ever see it.
Huh.
No, and I get that too. There's a lot of movies that were like big Oscar winners and are like, ew, that was horrible. So it's one of those things that steers me away from it. Sorry.
Here's what I thought on Joker. Everyone I like in comics and people whose opinions I trust say it's not great. And people who I think are stupid are in love with this movie. So that tells me everything I need to know.
I don't know. Like I said, I consider it like a alternate universe or what if. And it's less of a comic book movie and more of an avant-garde movie. Like, it's a movie made to be a movie, to be Oscar bait, right? So
I believe I called it Black Label movie.
Hmm?
I believe I compared it to DC's Black Label stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, yeah, so it's like, it's almost like a subgenre of the comic book stuff. So, you know, it just happens to have a character named Joker.
You actually said something that was very telling, John. That was very brilliant, in my opinion.
God.
The idea that a movie's made to be Oscar bait.
Oh yeah, no, that happens all the time though.
Yeah, and they all come out in October, November. Yeah,
they get shopped around to the Cannes and what's the other one? The Sundance Festival, and just to see if they've got it quite right, then they might make some changes, and then they release them, and they spam the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
They spam the entry.
Smaller budgets, typically star vehicles, people swinging for the fences. Yeah,
yep.
Right, and then it becomes, well, then is your object to make a good movie or make something the critics and the Academy will like to win an Oscar? Well, then how is that art? Because there should be some truth in your art.
Well, I think the argument is that those are one and the same. I don't know if that argument holds the test, but I think that is. I think the idea is a good movie will win the Oscars, but I think there's plenty of evidence to the contrary.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, and then just to keep it on Star Wars a little bit, because we won't have to talk about Star Wars for a long time. Have you seen all of the rumors flying around about Star Wars now?
Specifically?
Well,
that Baby Yoda is going to enter the MCU.
There's buzz about the Obi-Wan being an Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus now.
Oh, I thought that was official. Is it?
I don't know. I haven't. The only thing I saw was on We Got This Covered.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, never mind. So now you're dumber. Okay. Now you know less.
Right. And there was one other thing, and I don't remember what it was. And then people keep arguing that, my brother-in-law keeps arguing with me that Baby Yoda is Yoda, and I don't understand why he doesn't get it.
Not unless it's reincarnated Yoda.
Right. But it makes no sense because, if he's 50, like they state in the show, then he was born,
before Yoda died.
Right.
No, yes, before a new, Phantom Menace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is new Yoda.
Yeah. I think it's Yoda's baby.
It's a new new Yoda formula, right? Not like old Coke. Old Yoda.
All right.
Gotta blow the dust off that joke.
Yeah. Well, you know.
All right. That's enough. That's enough nonsense and old news.
That's our gimmick.
Yeah. Let's go to new, possibly not real news.
Well, before we do that, I forgot to put this in the notes. Of course, as always, don't forget to check out the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. That includes Cult 45, Fans on Patrol, Pop Prism Power Podcast, Gorilla Brain Podcast, So Wizard, and yours truly, Superhero Speak. Check out hashtag Geek World All-Stars Pod, GW All-Stars, on Twitter to follow all these great podcasts, and you won't be disappointed. They're probably a little more upbeat this week than we are. So on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with some news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
And we're back, and we have some interesting news to talk about.
Ooh, can I do one before we go to the? Because I actually found something else too.
Okay.
Have either of you heard of like the rumor that Robert Downey Jr. was going to be in a What If on Disney Plus?
No. That's not a rumor. All the actors did come back to do the voices. It's animated.
Oh yeah.
Right, but they were saying he would be back to reprise his role as Tony Stark, like not just voiceover, but.
Oh, okay. No.
Well, it was that was the rumor, and it only got debunked like a couple of hours ago. Apparently.
Oh, well, then why are you bringing up debunked news?
Because people will be talking about it, and we can help with the debunk.
Okay, so he's not coming back as a live action Iron Man in What If?
Right.
Okay.
But it was Jeff Goldblum who started the rumor and then denied the rumor.
Jeff, what are you doing to us?
I mean, he's basically as good as that website we were just talking about.
So, starting off this week, we got some Marvel news. So, Scott Derrickson, who directed the first Doctor Strange movie, dropped out of directing Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. The official news from Disney was on creative differences, but he is still going to be executive producing the movie. So do we have any fears? Because I really liked the first one. I liked his direction. So
it did have a good kind of it had a different feel to it than the other superhero movies.
Yes.
And I kind of liked it. Now I'm wondering. Yeah, I do have a concern.
I know.
Yeah. Well, why did he drop out anyway? It was
Feige wanted him to do something he didn't want to do. Who knows? I don't know what that is, but
yeah.
Feige
probably put him in a pool.
Well, Feige runs the show, so I mean, like we talked about, these Marvel movies are like TV. The director comes in and just kind of gets performances out of people. Like they're telling the stories, with the exception of maybe Gunn. James Gunn's the only one that I ever feel like really puts that creative stamp out. So,
what about I can't think of his name. Black Panther.
Yeah, Coogler. I take that back. Coogler was another one.
Yeah,
but I think they're the exceptions that make the rule.
True, because they get a lot of first-time directors or lesser-known directors to.
Well, Derrickson is a horror director.
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and you make a good point, and there is a formula to these movies at this point that they follow. I mean, I'm friends with a director on television, and he tells me he comes in and he just makes sure all the shots are done and the actors are on time and whatnot, because it's the director who does the pilot episode who usually sets the tone for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who do we think takes his place?
Jon Favreau.
He's busy telling Baby Yoda stories.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
3 bounty hunters and a baby. That's a sequel. I like to see them keep the horror route, because Doctor Strange did have a nice little horror vibe, and this whole multiverse of madness thing sounds a little spooky.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out Ari Aster, the director of Midsommar and Hereditary. Another pretty good young horror director. I would like to see that be the move.
It should be a horror director. I mean, it just the feel is much better, I think. I mean, it's nice. It's nice to have some of these movies have a much different immersive feel to them.
Yeah, I agree.
And plus, I mean, I don't know if I should really open our notes. Yeah, the Morbius thing, right? So Morbius is connected to the MCU.
Whoa.
But
going off format.
I am going off format, yes. But the thing is that, it'd be nice for there to be a horror section of the Marvel MCU now.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I think that that's why I'm starting the campaign right now. Ari Aster for Doctor Strange 2. I think that's the person that can really keep that horror flavor, who is also a heck of a director. Like, as far as creating tension goes and filmmaking, like, these are movies that are just like scary horror movies, but man, they create unnerving tension.
So jump scares are cheap. Let's not have any of those.
Now here's a thought, right? There's always been this, like, why can't we get the established directors to come in and do these movies? And I know part of that is Feige runs the show, so...
And he has a habit of pissing off directors like Joss Whedon, even with that pool scene that we mentioned.
Edgar Wright left.
Wright left, yeah. I mean, just like on the one side, it's nice to have an overarching, view of where everything's going and a single direction. Because, I mean, obviously that's working, whereas the DC universe is falling to pieces, or has fallen to pieces. But on the other hand, he seems to not be able to compromise, enough to keep some really, really good directors that we would have liked to have seen the fruits of.
Right. But I was going to throw a name out there for someone who knows how to build tension. John Carpenter.
Oh,
I think he's one of my all-time favorite filmmakers, but I think he's past his prime. He hasn't directed a movie, oh gosh, I want to say well over a decade.
I want
to say he's in his 70s.
Yeah.
That would be hard. Well, maybe it's time to find new blood. I mean,
that's what I suggest. I mean, that's my suggestion was kind of like this kind of is the type of hire they usually go with. Like, Aster's done some small budget movies that have made a lot of money, in comparison to their budget, like 10 times their budgets. So, yeah, John Carpenter was born in 1948, so he's 70. He just turned 72, or he will turn 72 by the time this show hits.
Yeah, that's interesting. Happy birthday, John.
Yes.
You are one of my favorite filmmakers as well. So, all right.
He directed a movie 10 years ago called The Ward that I've never heard of.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've heard of it. Did I see that one? I don't know. If it's on Netflix, I probably watch. If his name comes up, I watch stuff on Netflix.
Let's get one of the directors from Puppet Master.
There's a lot of those.
Or Full Moon, something from Full Moon Productions.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of Marvel Productions, apparently ABC and Kevin Feige, our wonderful leader of the MCU, are in early talks to develop a superhero series for broadcast television.
Ooh.
So
that won't last long.
Now, of course, they aren't saying who the character is or anything yet.
Ghost Rider.
In fact, here's the quote. "We love our partners at Marvel, and we're sad to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go. It's been a big part of our history, and we're looking forward to working with Kevin Feige, and we're at the very beginning of conversations with him now about what a Marvel and ABC show might look like. Right now, Marvel's focus has been on Disney Plus, and it should be."
It's going to look like whatever Feige says they should make it look like. that's going to be the problem, right?
Well,
Sorry, I was like, what's this big part of our history thing? Like, ABC's been around for over damn near 70 years, and S.H.I.E.L.D. was on for, what, 7? Come on.
Yeah, you know, they're greasing the wheels, as they say.
And the only reason S.H.I.E.L.D. was on the last 3 years was because they were told to keep it on. Like, they kept trying to drop it.
That was a mouse decision.
Yeah, the numbers weren't there.
So, who do you think... That's my question, is what character at this point would they give to an ABC show?
Ghost Rider. They've already had him on. That'd be nice.
That's actually not a bad idea.
As long as it's the real Ghost Rider. Like,
Johnny
Johnny Blaze or even Danny Ketch, like, nothing. I don't know. Robbie Reyes is okay, but I mean, like, I'd rather see the traditional Ghost Rider if they're doing that.
But it seems like Marvel wants to have the newest versions of the characters on these shows.
Mm.
True, but Johnny Blaze is back in the comics, so who knows?
Yeah,
but they could milk the relationship of Danny Reyes and his brother. What's his name? Timmy or whatever is, you know.
No idea what you're talking about.
No, he's the little brother.
You didn't watch him on Agents? Oh, okay. He has a little brother.
Yeah, a little disabled brother.
Yeah, in a wheelchair. Yes.
Really? Okay.
I call him Timmy.
That isn't.
Of course you do.
But the thing is that gave him a human side, something to protect and something to anchor him. So, you know, that would work.
So realistically, it'd probably have to be a hero that is a little bit more street based, right? Because you can't do. Well, I guess Flash and those shows have shown you can do stuff, but I mean, I would assume it wouldn't be one of the more out there properties.
Right. It has to be street based and not dark. You know, so it can't be Punisher. It can't be the Netflix version of Daredevil.
Oh, Iron Fist.
Now, do we reboot Iron Fist, or do we continue? Of course
we reboot.
We absolutely reboot Iron Fist.
I mean, as much as I'd like to see what was going to happen, never mind. I really didn't want to see what was going to happen with everybody having the Iron Fist now, because it was
that got ridiculous.
It wasn't special anymore. Nothing.
That show did not work.
No, not on almost any level. I mean, when the protagonist really antagonizes you,
it felt like a director who didn't understand the character, a star who didn't really understand the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, the studio didn't understand the character. It was their character.
Yeah, but I've often wondered with the Netflix shows how much was being done.
Well, you know what? It was the writers that didn't understand the character.
Yeah, it's the show.
Maybe the director, because the writers for Luke Cage, when they had Iron Fist on there, they wrote him perfectly.
Yeah. It's the show. I mean, like, it's the showrunner. And it's the same guy that went on and did Inhumans, which, you know.
Oh, God. So, that was great.
So it will not be the Inhumans.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing with Luke Cage, not Luke Cage,
okay.
Iron Fist, is how they got the other one so right and they got him so wrong. It's just
crazy.
Yeah.
Let me throw a crazy one at you. Wolverine.
That's not crazy. Crazy would be Galactus in a rom-com.
Okay, you're right. Let me throw a potentially unlikely one at you.
Now, hold on.
They'd have to.
You say unlikely. You say unlikely, but being probably the second most popular Marvel character, it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. Like, especially now that you've got an open door with the X-Men, what better way to introduce the X-Men universe than with Logan, you know?
Yeah, and get a younger actor so you can. Oh man,
yeah, I was gonna say, who are they gonna get to play Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Jackman is retired now, so this is your opportunity. But this is the best opportunity to do a new Wolverine, is you put him on the small screen, and then characters get to really, because I mean, we really didn't get to feel Logan until the last movie, and he was good in spite of his material. But there's so much Wolverine that you could do a TV show.
You know who they get to play him? Ryan Reynolds.
John.
You have issues, John. He's already Deadpool. And he's the only.
Can you imagine? Ryan Reynolds would be like, "Yes, I'd like to play the Austin."
He's already Deadpool. He's the only one that survived into the MCU. Let him be Deadpool.
I can't wait for the scene that eventually comes out of that.
No.
The article does go on to say that at one point Marvel and ABC were developing a female superhero show, but that got stalled. So that also makes me wonder too, like what female hero? Because I believe they said Miss Marvel is going to be on a Disney Plus show, correct?
Correct.
And so is She-Hulk. So who's another popular solo female hero from Marvel?
That's actually a Squirrel Girl thing. Yeah. I was going to say Spider-Woman.
Oh, Jessica Drew?
Yeah, that's what Jessica Drew, yeah. She's interesting. You could do a lot with Jessica Drew.
You can spin that off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You could. And you could have her connect to Hydra and all that stuff. Like, it's very doable. And you could make her a Skrull, if that's what you chose to do later. Because the tie-in with, because, well, let's be real, Secret Event, like, that's pretty much common, Secret Event, or Secret Invasion. She was a Skrull. So, it's doable.
Yeah.
But Squirrel Girl.
They're doing Squirrel Girl, I think.
No, that got nixed. I don't know what happened. But apparently
she was too powerful. They had nobody that could challenge her.
Did they realize they were making Squirrel Girl?
Hey.
My guess is they were trying to go too funny with it and realized it wasn't going to fit with the rest of the MCU.
It shouldn't have been funny, though.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that's my guess. I don't know. But yeah, like apparently got stuck in development hell and then they canceled it. So doesn't mean they won't revive it. And hey, maybe they could be on ABC. And then John will, be watching it every Sunday or whatever day it comes on.
I won't be.
I figured.
So switching from the MCU proper to the
MCU blasphemous.
Yes, exactly. We had a couple trailers come out recently. We'll start with the one that came out today. It's the Morbius trailer. I had low expectations for this movie. I don't think the trailer looks bad. I kind of liked it. I don't know if I'm going to go see it, but I did dig the trailer. What did you guys think?
I wasn't offended by it. I didn't hate it. I don't know. I think I've said before, I think Morbius is a tough character to carry a property. I was okay with it until the last shot. And then I was a little interested.
The last shot?
Yeah.
Where you saw him as a vampire?
No, you see Michael Keaton.
Oh, right. Tying it into Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then there's in the background in one of the scenes is there's a poster on the wall of Spider-Man, and it has like graffiti on it that says murderer. So basically it's completely tied into the end of Far From Home.
I missed that. Nice catch.
Well,
interesting.
So basically, you've got the Vulture and you've got that. So, I mean, I don't know if Tobey Maguire might show up.
You mean Tom Holland. Tom Holland. Tobey Maguire. That would be funny.
The thing is, the Spider-Man costume in the poster is actually the Tobey Maguire costume.
Oh, I'm going to have to watch the trailer again. I missed that.
So, but anyway, if they do bring Tom Holland in, I don't know if they can do it. I don't know what this is. I mean, as great as this is, there's some kind of unholy agreement that's making all this possible. Because, I can't imagine that, because Sony still doesn't want Tom Holland probably to appear until he appears in Venom 2, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they're working out the logistics of these deals, but Sony definitely wants Spider-Man to be in these movies to boost them up in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they brought Michael Keaton in, it tells you a lot of how they're trying to tie these all together. Yeah.
So we know that Tobey Maguire. We know that Tom Holland is contractually obligated to appear, in another 3 movies? Like one centered around him that's connected to the MCU, and 2 more appearances in ensemble MCU movies. That's what I remember anyway. So yeah, I mean, this could all, like, even Venom could tie back into the MCU and all that, and Morbius, and then they can bring in Tom Cruise, and we'd have Universal's Dark Universe.
Oh my God!
The right way.
No, No.
Well, they have said that there were rumors that they're going to work on a new Blade, right? They're bringing Blade back into it. So, Blade, Morbius, Venom, I don't know, bringing Doctor Strange. You've got the MCU version of Justice League Dark. There was an MCU team like that, wasn't there? With a werewolf and
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns. Okay. So
Oh my God. So I looked it up online real quick, and yes, John, it does look like the Tobey Maguire costume, not the Tom Holland costume. It's so weird.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, it's, there you go, Midnight Suns. Should be fun. 2 years from now, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll wait for some more stuff to be leaked about the movie. I'll probably go see it. I've liked Morbius as a character in the comics for years. I liked what they did with him in the 90s animated series, too.
It looked interesting. It looks interesting enough to look at, to go into the movie theater and see at least.
So.
What about you, JD?
I'm sorry, what?
do you think you'll go see it or no?
No, probably not. If it gets good reviews, I'll probably check it out. I don't know. It's Morbius. I didn't see Venom, and I like Venom more than I like Morbius.
Right. Only if we make you see it for the podcast.
Yeah, if you say we have to review this movie for the podcast, then I will go see it. But, I don't know. I tell you what, I'm more interested knowing that this has some kind of tangential MCU connection. Quite frankly, if I knew Tom Holland would be in Venom, I probably would have gone and seen it, because I am a corporate tool.
All hail the corporate masters.
Yes, all hail the corporate masters. All hail Disney. So, the other trailer that's back, this movie was off and on and off and back on again. New Mutants. It's now PG-13 instead of R. It's coming out in April, and it is tied, they have it confirmed, it is tied to the MCU.
How did they make this work?
I don't know, and they're saying that this is how they're introducing mutants into the MCU. So, yeah.
Seriously, how are they making this work?
I mean, the new trailer doesn't feel anything like the original trailer either. So how many reshoots did they do on this thing?
A whole movie. Still the same directors are credited, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this has got to be one of the most expensive movies ever made at this point.
It's a lot of spending for a movie that probably isn't going to make it back.
Yeah, it feels, I don't know, with everything we've heard, it feels pretty, iffy, really, really iffy.
Yeah, because, I mean, making it PG-13, you're not going to get a hardcore horror fans going to see it, I don't think.
No, but you'll get the Marvel fans going to see it. Like, PG-13 movies make more than R movies. The R thing is a big...
Yeah, but the thing is that this is like New Mutants, right? Yeah. So, not the biggest property, and it feels like they would need the R in order to get the edge they needed to fill the seats.
But we're not dealing with Fox anymore.
True.
Disney. I don't see Disney doing this. Like, they can say until Deadpool 3 comes out with an R, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. No, I agree, and.
I'm curious though. Like, this movie I will see, and I want to see a making of documentary at some point, because there's a great story behind this whole thing.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Yeah, and it's just like, I can't even think, the characters that they're using, Sunspot, I think, is the only one I really know.
Well, they're the original New Mutants. Like, Magic's awesome. Cannonball's cool. Danny Moonstar's awesome. Like, they're doing the Claremont Stankiewicz New Mutants. So
who's playing Cannonball? I didn't realize Cannonball was in the movie.
Oh, the guy from Stranger Things.
Oh, okay. Now that makes more sense. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I might go see this one because it is a direct tie into the MCU at this point as well.
Damn it! That means I have to see it.
I hope the DVD release puts on the R version, because I just want to see what it could have been.
Yeah.
True. I also kind of think, like, when they go back and they reshoot so much of a movie like this, and you're dealing with young actors, like, is there going to be noticeable changes from original footage to, reshot footage?
The new old mutants.
You're not wrong. I mean, like, people do change. I mean, they're in their 20s. They're not teenagers, but they spend a lot of money on it trying to keep those kids looking young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's Colby Gannett is one of the actresses in the movie. She looks like she's 10, maybe. So.
Yeah, that doesn't last long, though.
Right.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll go see it. Or wait for. There's got to be like more trailers or whatever coming out. I guess we'll see what it looks like. But they should have gone. They really for that should have gone for the R.
So here's a question, and JD, you've worked in this industry here and there. As a movie company, with a movie like New Mutants, where it was going to come out and there were a bunch of trailers that already came out, and then you reshot the whole thing basically, and now there's a new trailer. How do you change people's perspective of what it was going to be to what it is?
I think all you can do is just release a new trailer and just kind of unveil, like, oh, this is the direction of the movie, and kind of like play it off like the last one didn't happen. I mean, let's be real. It's been 2.5 years since the last trailer premiered. So, like, you really have a fresh audience again, you know, and just try to win them back over. I mean, it's a whole new marketing campaign. It's a whole new marketing team. So, I mean, like, I don't know if we've ever been in this position before.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. I mean, the closest I can think of is Justice League. But I mean, I think it was the same basic story. They just, you know, tweaked it here and there.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're not trying to change an entire. Well, I guess they had to. Like, Justice League, they had to reshoot a new movie because to fall in line with DGA rules. So that's actually probably more reshoots. That legally had to be more reshoots. This probably is a little bit more editing because you can change a movie in editing with like some slight pickups. With Justice League, like 60% of the movie has to be shot by the quote unquote director. And that's the DGA. And they're not changing directors here, I don't think. So this is it's more relies on the cutting room to see what was done. That's why I'm so curious to see this one. I just want to see how they're able to put it together.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm definitely on board with you too with let's get a documentary of the story of this movie.
There's a story. There's a great story behind this movie. There's this one Dr. Moreau, like this Island of Dr. Moreau documentary called Lost Souls about the three different directors, or two different directors on Island of Dr. Moreau, the Brando one, and what a cluster F that movie was. Great.
Well, that was mostly Brando, though. That was
It wasn't just Brando. The original director was a complete nut job, and he couldn't handle Brando being Brando, and they brought in, I forget.
Well, two nut jobs. I mean.
Was it John McTiernan? I forget who they brought in, the second director, but he was just a ball buster. Then Brando got even more Brando-y. It's a fantastic documentary.
Yeah. I think, I've seen the stuff about Superman too. That's interesting as well.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've seen that one. That is good.
You know, and like them talking about how they had to come in and just reshoot, word for word scenes just because of the change of director. Yep.
60%. Yeah.
But then they added all the quote unquote comedy.
Well, you different director too, because you're gonna have a guy with different sensibilities. You bring in the dude who directed A Hard Day's Night to make a Superman movie, you ain't gonna get Richard Donner stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right. So that's it for Marvel stuff that I have this week. And then moving across the aisle to DC, the only thing I saw of interest to me about DC, and you guys maybe have something else, they're still doing a Flash movie. Believe it or not, 22.
It's not gonna happen.
And Andy Muschietti?
Yeah, the IT director.
Who is going to be directing the movie now at this point, said it is still based on Flashpoint. It's going to be a different version of it, but still the same basic story. Is this the way they reset the DCEU without Cavill and Affleck?
My thought is, go ahead, Jeff.
Even if they reset it, they would have to have somebody like Feige to start giving the entire ship a single direction, and I don't think that's going to happen.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to do the story where Barry goes back to save his mother, comes back to a different world, more like Back to the Future 2 than anything, and has to stop himself from stopping. So I think I don't think it'll reset the universe because you have to set the universe. And it seems like they're not interested in doing that anymore.
But they already did that in one of the animated movies, Flashpoint, which they actually used to reset the universe from the Bruce Timm universe to the new universe.
I didn't know they
did that. Animated universe.
I didn't know they did that. But you don't have to reset the whole universe. So you can have Flashpoint and just focus on the Flash. Are you missing everything that made Flashpoint what it was as a comic? Yeah, but he said it's going to be a different Flashpoint. So my assumption is going to be just focusing on the Flash, which is what a Flash movie should do anyway. Like, they have to stop thinking like DC Comics, that everything being done has to have these grand implications and tell, like, character-based stories. Wonder Woman is telling a small character-based story. It's big, but it's not, like, epic universal, like, changing things.
Well,
like, DC needs to do that.
Yeah, but they can ignore, I mean, yeah, they can do exactly what you're saying, because that's pretty much what they did with the Flashpoint animated movie. It did focus on Flash, and it was him, in a hellish alternate universe where the Atlanteans were in
at war with the Amazonians. Yeah, same as the comic.
Yeah. So, but that would work.
It would. Yeah, it totally could. I don't think you need to have the universe reset afterwards. Could they? Sure. Do I think they should necessarily? No, because they haven't even set their universe yet. Why reset something you've never quite set?
Right. True. And again, they need somebody to make sure that after they reset, they did something with that, and they don't have anybody to do that right now.
No, and I have no faith that they ever will.
Yeah.
I don't know if they should, to be honest with you.
Now, wait a minute. I'd like to throw a name out to be the head of the DC universe.
I don't think that they'll let JD do it, though.
Well, this guy, he would love that, but
no. What about Patty Jenkins?
Whoa.
I think she's a filmmaker. I think you need someone who is an exec who loves this stuff, like a Kevin Feige. A filmmaker wants to make films, I
don't know. I just feel like she gets Wonder Woman so well. At least, yeah. I mean, and her fighting for the trench scene, and that is the scene that makes that movie. It's like she gets it,
Yeah, she does.
So
well, we'll see what we'll see what she can do with Wonder Woman 1984. But yeah, I think you need somebody. You need a cross between somebody that loves the comic books. You need a cross between a nerd and a politician.
You need Jeff Johns. If they trusted Jeff Johns enough to let him lead a studio, he would be the guy. But I don't think they do.
Yeah, because he does love it enough to make sure it would be done right.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, heck, when they said they rejected Affleck and Jeff Johns, was it Jeff Johns? No, it was Snyder.
No, it was Jeff Johns.
Oh, Jeff Johns' script for Batman. It was like, really? Like that makes no sense. One of them's an Oscar winner. One of them, one of them's a beloved comic book writer. Like, what? That's who you want to write a movie. Come on, what's wrong with Affleck's writing?
You believe Affleck actually wrote that thing?
You don't think he wrote Good Will
Hunting?
I
believe him and Matt Damon wrote a script for Good Will Hunting that Gus Van Sant said, "Oh, okay, I got to fix this. There's something here that I have to fix." Because you're telling me those guys never wrote anything before or since and came up with that?
Sure they did.
Yeah. I have some swamp property in Florida if you're interested.
Ooh, I like swamp property. Does it have alligators?
7.
Awesome. What's your pick?
All right. Well, Ben Affleck, if you're listening to this podcast and you actually wrote Good Will Hunting, let us know. But I doubt he is. All right. Well, no. I mean, I get your point. But yeah, no, I don't know what they're gonna do with DC movies anymore. And yes, they're still coming out with a Flashpoint movie, but does anyone even care anymore?
No, God, no.
They'll probably start taking bets on how many different Jokers they're going to have in it.
7.
Yes, 7.
Speaking of that, any interest in Birds of Prey at this point?
The second trailer looked pretty good. It looked better than the first.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I don't know. What, am I alone? Just me?
I'm just kind of meh. Yeah, it is literally. I'll go see it, but my whole outlook on it is meh.
I don't know what it's trying to be, is what my issue is. I don't know what, is it like a bunch of, she breaks up with the Joker and she's having fun with doing crimes, or is there like a story where she's saving the world, or
No, I think
what?
it's Thelma and Louise with capes.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's what bothers me, because it's like, you know, you got the Joker, which is king of comedy, but instead it's the Joker. And now we're going to get Thelma and Louise, but it's with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, but Harley Quinn is the character to do that with. And they did their, superheroes have to save the world movie, and nobody gave a shit.
Because it was a bad movie.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I'm not arguing, believe me, I don't argue that one bit. But I think they're trying other things. Because I still don't think Warner knows what to do with these properties.
It's so weird. Like, there's so much potential, and it doesn't seem hard to get it right. Just, they're trusting the wrong people to get it right.
It's not even hard to get it, half right, and they can't even manage that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they have, the people who specifically do these movies, I don't think really like comics all that much. Like, even when going back to Green Lantern, like, they hired Martin Brest. Like, that's the wrong guy. Like, the guy never made, like, an action-y, high special effects driven piece. And it was obvious when you saw it. Like, Snyder had this great vision and it made a lot of money, but people really, like, it just created, like, divisive fandom. And overall, the majority of people don't like it. And he didn't get Superman. Like, I think they hear these people come in with these big, grandiose pitches and they're wowed by them. Rather than listening to someone who goes, man, I loved Superman.
Mm.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. I mean, and I don't think it's hard to find someone who loves the characters that makes good movies. Warner.
They're out there.
You're breaking my heart.
They're out there. They just don't get the opportunity. Like, The Iron Giant was a great movie. You tell me Brad Bird can't make a Superman movie?
He even put Superman into that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the example I use. And he said, well, that's a movie. He made a really good Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
They just don't, but why isn't that guy, like, why do we give it to that guy instead of the guy who made 300? Like, what sense does that make?
I don't know.
Oh, 300? Yes, that guy should make Superman.
Well, because I also think it's like, oh, well, he made a movie based on a comic book that's successful, but it's not the same story at all.
No.
But I think that's what they look at. They're like, oh, there's one successful comic book movie. They're all the same.
I think this is why Disney's so good at what they do, because it's not just bean counters. Like, they get guys in there who understand story and how to manage a property.
I think maybe it's this. Disney's existence has always been family entertainment, and they understand that they get the young people, they've got the family. Warner Brothers really isn't about that, And maybe that's the problem. They don't understand, like, they don't have to make a dark, serious superhero movie to appeal to adults. They just have to take the topic serious and make a good superhero movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, they could make a dark, serious movie, but they can't even do that right.
But they did. The Dark Knight was, and the problem is the Dark Knight was so good that everything else has to follow the Dark Knight. Like, they don't have any kind of variance in their filming. Like, they get to, like Kevin, we've all heard the Kevin Smith stories with John Peters. Like, they've been constantly trying to make Batman, and everything has to be Batman. Whereas at Disney, they let, Pixar gets to be Pixar.
No,
like, those guys get story. Like, it's always about story more than anything. And they understand the characters and the properties. Like, Warner never puts people who understand these properties in charge.
You know what? That's true. And we've talked about this on the show before. One of the things that hurt comics, especially on the DC side, was stories like The Killing Joke and The Dark Knight Returns. Like, they were highly popular, but then they wanted to turn Batman into that dark character.
Yeah, everything had to be The Killing Joke or Watchmen. God, how many times have you reread Watchmen as something else? By the way, I watched the first episode of Watchmen the other day, finally. Really good.
I have yet to actually watch it. I
heard it was hard. I heard the first scene was hard.
So hard. So I watched it and it was like very difficult. Like the first scene, it starts with the Tulsa riots of 21, the race riots. Wow, is it powerful and well done. Like, it's really good. It's really good. Surprised me how good it was.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it went back in time like
So what they do is they take the world of Alan Moore's and Dave Gibbons' Watchmen, and it's 35 years later, and how the world copes, and how the world has come since then. So you have that different world, and how is the world existing? And in this one, like basically the Klan wears a Rorschach mask.
Okay.
Like they wear, and they're against the police with these race riots in modern day. So the police actually have to wear masks to protect their identities.
Cool.
I'm one episode in. That's all I got. It's really, Regina King and Don Johnson are awesome in it. So I've heard a lot of good things, and I finally decided I'm going to give this a watch.
All right. Well, you've given me something to watch over the next couple of nights too.
Oh, if you want to see something else, see The Witcher. They did such a good job with it.
Throw a coin to your Witcher.
Yeah, yep. Throw a coin to your Witcher.
I'm gonna make time because I got to finish this one, and I got to watch The Outsider because that was my favorite book of last year. The Stephen King that's now on HBO.
Oh, jeez.
It's basically Law and Order Special Victims Unit meets It.
Well, that actually might be a good segue to transition into wrapping it up and giving some recommendations to our listeners.
Well, I'm done. I just spent time doing that.
So your recommendation is to go watch The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the one who watches The Watchmen, turns out.
How about you, John?
The Witcher.
The Witcher? Cool.
Yeah. I'll have anime recommendations as soon as I find, as soon as the season really starts up and I find one that's good.
I have not been watching much lately, though I will say that the new seasons of the CW shows will be coming back soon. So if you haven't watched the first 3 parts of the Crisis on Infinite Earths, I do recommend you watch those before the last 2 parts come up because it was really good.
We've got 2
left. I
left.
Can't wait for that. Yep, 2 left. So we'll see what happens. All right. So on that note, boys and girls, I think we're going to put a pin in it for this week. Again, thank you to everyone. And as always, don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.